We just
okay. I can see we've gone live. Okay, so I'll just say hello to the audience. So hello to our audience. I'm James Alexander from iChongqing. It's a pleasure to have you tonight. So this is our third live stream, and I want to welcome our guests back. We've got Owen from Ireland and Zach from England, like myself. And tonight we're going to be talking about football. And at the same time, we're going to be following the latest football match, which is about to start now, which is Brazil against Switzerland. So we're going to be talking about our experiences with watching football in the past, our expectations for this match, what we think of the tournament. And of course, I hope we have lots of opportunity for interaction with our audience. So if you're watching, wherever you are in the world at the moment, please send us those messages. And it'd be great to get some interaction going. 大家好，我是你们的主持人詹姆斯，我是来自英国。今天晚上我和我们两位嘉宾就是来自爱尔兰的欧文，还有后一样的来自英格兰的扎克。现在我们要讨论一下足球，然后与此同时，现在我们要结束一下我们正在看的就是一场比赛啊，就是巴西队对瑞士队啊。那好吧，我们看比赛，我这个主播进行的期间，我希望我们的观众可以跟我们进行更多的互动啊，就欢迎大家随时给我们发一下评论啊，向我们问问题啊，提出你们宝贵的意见，希望以此我们可以多进行一些交流。Yeah, okay, so I just gave myself another introduction. I know we do this every time, guys, but just for the new audience members, could you say a few brief words about yourself?
大家好，我叫 Owen，来自爱尔兰，在重庆，差不多12年，我是爱尔兰人，所以我就想看这些比赛，我不管谁赢了，我就要英国输了。
对啊，想感觉我们今天都比较中立吧，反正我也是啊，不管是巴西队赢还是瑞士队赢，我觉得都可以啊，反正我们能看到一个精彩的比赛就可以。Yeah, okay, and Zach, could you introduce yourself again just briefly?
大家好，我叫 Zach，重庆和曼彻斯特是我的家，我是曼联的粉丝，今天我穿了他们的队服，sorry， yeah， 今天能和大家一起看一下巴西的比赛，我很激动。Okay, that's my dodgy Chinese there for you.
Okay, so maybe Zach has got a bit of a connection issue. It looks like Brazil has made a very bright start to this game. So out of the
it's interesting.
Line, very quickly.
Well, it's interesting that they had Neymar is injured. Neymar is injured. He's not going to play this game or the next game. So they had he started the last game. They had Neymar, Vinicius Jr., Richarlison, and just off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the other guy. They've actually replaced Neymar with Fred from. They've replaced Neymar with Fred from Manchester United, who for Manchester United is quite a defensive player. I know they allow him to get forward a little bit more with Brazil, but it doesn't seem a very attacking change. So I'm not sure if they're slightly worried by Switzerland, or what the thinking behind putting Fred on instead of Neymar.
Yeah, I mean, would you say Brazil at the moment are kind of more reliant on like individual players? Because I remember like at the end of the 1990s and early 2000s, they had like a lot of really strong players, like the Roberto Carlos, you can was it Cafu, Kaká, Ronaldo, Rivaldo. So almost wherever you looked, they had loads of star players. But I suppose at the moment, of course, we know about Neymar. But if I have a look through some of the other players they've got here, I mean, you see names like Rafinha, Anthony.
Well, Rafinha is an
Vinicius.
interesting one. Rafinha is an interesting one. Rafinha is the guy who used to play for Leeds. He was playing for Leeds last year, and there was talk of him going to Arsenal and to Spurs and to Manchester United during the summer, and he ended up with Barcelona for not a lot of money, to be perfectly honest. And so he went to Barcelona, which then meant that Richarlison, the other guy, the guy who's playing centre forward for Brazil, he was not going to Barcelona then, and he ended up going to either Arsenal or Spurs, and he chose Spurs, which meant that Gabriel Jesus didn't go to Barcelona, didn't go to Spurs, went to Arsenal, and Jesus is not playing tonight. But the forwards for the Brazilian team, they all had transfers, they all changed clubs during the summer, and they're all doing very well. They're all doing very well for their respective club sides.
I mean, for Jesus is an interesting case. He's not playing. Gabriel Jesus is not on the. It's not being picked, as you correctly said.
Yeah.
But scoring 63 goals in the season before, coming into this, so in total, he's had 170 performances with the Gunners, and he's got 63 goals is a pretty good goal, and he has 34 assists for his club side, which so if they bring on him, it's going to be goals. So Brazil are spoiled for choice for strikers. I think that's my take on that is it doesn't matter who they pick, they're going to be spoiled for choice for strikers.
I'll give you a bit of an insight into the brain, the way my brain works. I'm very fickle when it comes to which team I root for. And I was reading Casemiro, who is the midfielder for Brazil. He was talking about Neymar's injury, and he very, very confidently, some would say arrogantly, said, I actually have it in my history here. He said that it's that he feels sorry for other teams having to play Brazil, because as soon as they lose one world-class player, another world-class player fits in, and he himself rates Brazil as favourites for the World Cup. So I'm kind of up for Switzerland today, because I think that's just a little bit arrogant.
I would go with that. Just for his record, I'll just tell you, as a United fan, you got my he's made 11 appearances in this season, and he's only scored one goal. So so that's and if you and in terms of assists and but I mean as a player, his time on the field hasn't been that much. So his absence or his presence on the squad itself is a fortune. He's not had enough time on the field to be able to be picked for a Brazilian side. So I would agree with you.
Well, to be fair, you could say that, right? You could say that, but he's not the biggest shock. Like, the biggest shock for me is Paqueta, the other midfielder, because you have Fred and Casemiro, and United are doing quite well recently. So there's an argument for both of them, and Fred does play very well for Brazil, But Paqueta, he can't even get a game for West Ham. He plays for West Ham, and he doesn't start. He doesn't start for West Ham. He's a kind of a sometimes in, sometimes out sort of a player. But here he is in the World Cup. He started two games in a row for Brazil in the World Cup when Casemiro thinks they're favourites, and he thinks that they have world-class players all throughout the pitch. Not really. Casemiro might be a world-class player, but Paqueta isn't, and neither is Fred. So they're good players. But I don't see why they don't have. I don't see why Bruno Guimaraes wasn't given a chance, considering how well he's playing for Newcastle. But yeah, Paqueta is just like it. Just I don't understand it. Like maybe the Brazilian coach sees something that I don't. Probably does see something that I don't because he's the Brazilian coach, which I am not.
I would go with it. The thing for United is this: we're seeing him playing for Brazil, but we're trying to figure out what he can do for the club, and a lot of fans aren't really that impressed by his purchase. So really, it's not something we would go for. But I was going to ask you somebody else on the pitch who's very important. Both you and I know him very well. We watched him years. Is Granit Saha, the gentleman from the Swiss side.
Xhaka.
Xhaka.
Zahia. Yeah.
Boom,
he's not really a goal scorer. I mean, if I recall, he only had like maybe 13 goals this season already. But he is for the Swiss, he is a potential source of goals. But the interesting thing is, for the Gunners, he tends to score goals on free flow running at the defenders. He rarely scores free kicks, so he might be a handful for the Brazilians on the counter. I don't know.
I think he scores a lot of long range goals, doesn't he? He's got a big reputation for doing that in the Premier League.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. He's a long range shooter. So yeah, it's gonna. I think they've got a chance to play the counter game against Brazil with him, with the potential to try that.
Like I say, I am an Arsenal fan, and I watch all the Arsenal games, and you're right to point out Xhaka. Xhaka, this last 18 months, has been a man possessed. He was probably the player of the season for Arsenal last year. Probably the best player at the club at the minute, and that's despite having Saka and Martinelli, who's also here on the bench. The best player at the club is Granit Xhaka, and that sounds very strange to say because 2.5 years ago he was out. He was leaving. He packed his bags and he was gone. And Richarlison should have done better with the ball in there for Vinicius Junior.
That's right. He had some big run-ins with the fans, didn't he? I think he had a lot of red cards, didn't he? Remember didn't he give the fans the middle finger or something like that?
And swearing at them and whatnot. And he and a lot of people were blaming him for a lot of the poor form that Arsenal were in. But the truth of the matter is, he was never that bad. He was never that bad. He was exposed because he was being made to play as a. Richarlison is having a really bad game. He was exposed because he was the only defensive midfielder at the club, or being made to play as a defensive midfielder. Since the start of this season, he hasn't played as a defensive midfielder not once. He plays in a midfield role that's box to box, which changes when he goes forward in possession. He's almost an inside left. He plays in a very, very attacking position, and he gets into the box. And so what you were saying, James, which is right. He does have a reputation for scoring long-range goals, but that's when he's sitting back. Now, this year, he scored more goals than he ever did, and that's because he's getting into the box in these pockets on the left-hand side of the pitch. Like he'll get in there, and
they got a free kick. Just on the point of long-range shots, they got a free kick.
Yeah,
they got a free kick. Well, maybe.
This one must be a good 30 yards or more. But it's kind of like the distance that Messi scored against Liverpool, isn't it? A season or two ago when they won the Champions League
from Casemiro.
But I think that Messi managed to score once from that position.
Oh no,
that's right. Messi did that once.
This ball apparently is the fastest ball that has ever been used at a World Cup. So, if this is the fastest ball that's ever been used at a World Cup, you can score this. If you hit this right, you can score this.
How about swerve as well? Because I remember they've talked about this in previous World Cups as well. Maybe they use a lighter ball, and then maybe see if you like kick it and you get some spin on it, and it'll swerve a bit more.
Yeah, this is designed for speed, designed to be hit really hard. That's what this ball is made for. I'm actually one of the things that surprises me is that goalkeepers don't try to, suck players in and like leave a guy up front for a ball to chase onto more often, because it seems to be easy to kick it a long way. So I just think of it like some of the teams could probably go a little bit more route one, and they might get a bit of joy. Just being a little bit of joy. The Japanese goal was good. That was route one.
So goalkeeper wise for the Swiss, is it Jan Somers? The
Somers,
goalkeeper?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays for Borussia
Dortmund,
Gladbach, Mönchengladbach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's not playing for like a. But the interesting thing is, I watched a game with them play. They played Dortmund before the World Cup. The last game in November, they played against Dortmund. He had a really big game against Dortmund where they beat 4-2. So this keeper's actually decent. So the likes of Dortmund's got pretty good strikers. So it's not going to be an easy game for Brazil to score a goal against him. He's quite disciplined.
Well,
it's not. The Swiss have got a really good goalkeeper. I think that might be a game changer for them.
Well, look at the Brazilians are not going to walk through this game. The last World Cup, they beat France. They beat France in the last 16, and then they went out on penalties. I think Yeah, they went out on penalties in the quarterfinals, and then the European Championships they did really well as well. The European Championships they did well. The last World Cup they did well. They're ranked 14th, 15th in the world, deservedly. They're here because Italy aren't. They took Italy's spot, and they're not to be. They're not to be disrespected in any way, shape, or form. This is a good team that knows how to play football. They may not have the goals that Brazil have, but they definitely know their role. They definitely know their position. And going back to what I was saying about Granit Xhaka previously, when you watch Arsenal and they play a lot of positional football, they tend to have a front line which becomes 5 players attacking. Switzerland do that too. They just don't do it as often, and it's very similar to this sort of Switzerland and full flow is positionally very similar to Man City or Arsenal. I think they play football in a modern, progressive way, and they're not. It's not going to be easy for Brazil. I don't think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can see their record in the in qualifying here. So they qualified in first place in Group C. Yeah, so they're in there with Italy, I suppose Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, Lithuania, a little weaker. Yeah, but they managed to finish the group unbeaten with 5 wins, 3 losses. Italy 2 points behind. Yeah, so that's a very impressive points tally for that group.
Yeah,
and I can also see some of the big, they've got players played for some big clubs in Europe. So if we look, they've got another goalkeeper, Goalkeeper, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. There's a defender, Fabian. I don't know how to pronounce this, like Shah.
Fabian Schär,
yeah, plays for Newcastle.
Yeah,
another defender,
he's on unbelievable form at the minute. Unbelievable form. Schär is one of the best defenders in the Premier League right now. Easily one of the best defenders in the Premier League.
And I'd say Newcastle's turnaround is quite amazing as well. They were kind of still in relegation line zone this time last year, weren't they?
And it's all built on a solid defense. Yeah. Hiya, Holly. How are you? But yeah, go on, continue. Who else have we got there? Schär from Newcastle.
Oh yes, so thank you and welcome to Holly Horn. So thank you for joining us today. And if you have any comments, please feel welcome to share with us. We'd love to get more interaction with our audience. Okay, so if I keep going through the name list here, some of the big names. Ricardo Rodriguez kind of sounds a bit like a Spanish name, but he plays for Torino in Italy.
Okay. Yeah.
Another one for
Bayern Munich. He used to play for Bayern Munich.
For Bayern Munich. Okay, I'll just scroll down. I can't see any for Bayern Munich here, but
no. Rodriguez used to.
Okay, yeah, transferred.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that go ahead. The names you mentioned, what's interesting is I was going back to a memory of mine with 2002. Around that time, the Brazilians did win the World Cup, and then they had a drought for about 2006 or 2010. They didn't really play very well. So I'm just wondering if this young team they've got has the potential to shine, because my memory of Brazil has always been Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, all these top names going in, and household names people knew. Now probably people struggle to name a player who's on the team. I'm not sure if that's
Neymar, and then people go, who? Like if you take it's a fair point, Zach. It's a fair point. Like if you take Richarlison, the striker, the main man, the guy who scored the goals for them last week, he has started 4 games this year for Spurs. So out of 14 games, he's started 4. He's been fit all season. He just hasn't been picked. And Brazil are relying on him to get the goals. And they pick him in front of Jesus, who's played every game that he's been fit for, which is it's bizarre to me. The team selection
makes sense. I mean, I was expecting Jesus to be picked on the first starting 11, and the gaffer can't do that.
But he picked Fred.
Fred, exactly. I mean, to be frank with you, I'm not happy with Fred's performance at United, and I don't know why they put him in there. Just making any sense.
I don't know how he got a transfer to Man United. He's not a Man United player. He's what has he ever done for Man United? This is the biggest club or the second biggest, who knows? It's one of the other biggest club in England, and Fred is just a liability, really, for Man United. He is anyway. He's never really got a partnership together with McTominay. Casemiro coming in, it does look like it's shorted up a little bit, but I just don't see. I don't see the central. I don't see two of the central three. Like Casemiro is Casemiro. He has 5 European Cups. He's unbelievable. Right? No, you don't get 5 European Cups without being unbelievable. The other two, why are they there? I don't understand. Like I don't get it.
I think one of the strongest players on the field. I don't know if you guys. Ederson is for Manchester City is an awesome keeper.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this season you guys have tested him now, and last season he was nearly perfect and he's on 97 clean sheets, which is ridiculous. So it's for any team. It's not Brazil. It's getting past them. The only savior of Brazil is that, and I think that's the only way they're going to get through the World Cup if he performs well.
Right. And what I think is good about Ederson as well, I remember reading that. I mean, I suppose the traditional, English goalkeeper. Well, I mean, I know he's Ecuadorian, isn't he? Something like that.
I'm not sure, but I'm not.
Yeah, so South American anyway. But I suppose traditionally in England, you've just been used to having a goalkeeper who just like boots it.
Yeah,
up the field and doesn't really do that much else, apart from shot stopping. But I remember Guardiola's philosophy is that he really likes a goalkeeper who kind of like the outfield players are really good with their feet. So you can kind of like if he receives the ball, there are some other like attackers around. He's not afraid of dribbling the ball around them or chipping it over them to defenders nearby. So I think that's kind of made a good contribution. Maybe made a big change to what we see in the Premier League.
Well, one of the things that a goalkeeper with good feet allows you to do is when a team when a team is pressing high, when they're looking to get the ball off you high up the pitch, what you can do is you can actually use your goalkeeper as a kind of a sweeper, a libero sort of player, so you can pull the attackers to one side, and then just have the fullback on the other side take a couple of steps up, and the goalkeeper just gets an easy ball to beat the press, which is like one little pass over the striker to the right back or the left back, and you're on an attack, which is something that Ederson does really well. Ramsdale does it really well, but what you're saying is right. The typical English goalkeeper, I wouldn't even say typical English goalkeeper, because I would say the typical traditional goalkeeper. I think what a goalkeeper has changed, and I think Manuel Neuer changed it. The idea of a sweeper keeper is now what keepers should be. That does Vinicius Junior have to score that goal? I think he does.
While you were talking there, the Swiss keeper just made a hell of a save.
Yeah, but I think Vinicius Junior has to save that, has to score that. I think he has to score that. I think that's a goal.
That was a goal for him, but it was a hell of a save.
It was a great cross.
Yeah, I think
almost right on his foot.
Yeah, so I think basically all of them are off the game today. Richarlison is off his game. Vinicius Junior is off his game, so they're probably going to score about 7 goals.
Yeah. And actually, on WeChat, we had a comment from Tom Suter about Richarlison saying that he hasn't scored in the Premier League so far this season. I wasn't aware of that. I'm not sure he's the one to lead the line for a World Cup winning team.
Yeah. Somebody, a Spurs fan said to me a little while ago. He said, "Oh, but Richarlison is so important that to be able to have a player like Richarlison and bring him off the bench so as he can score." And I went, "Okay, yeah, that's fair enough." This was when Reece Nelson had just scored 2. He goes, "You mean like Reece Nelson, who's played for 60 minutes and scored more goals than Richarlison has played all year?" but yeah, like Richarlison has not been good. He hasn't been good, but he was great. He was great in
Everton. He seemed to play
in the last game. Last game he was good. Like in the World Cup, he was good, but he hasn't been good in the league. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
not for Tottenham so far, anyway.
Well, Tottenham are doing all right. Tottenham had, after 10 games, it was their best league start to a season ever, and they were third. that must be quite demoralizing. That must be really demoralizing if it's like your club's best ever league start and you're third.
Yeah, but of course, I think the best opportunity for them would have been like 2015-16 when like Leicester beat them to it. But they were kind of like with us all the way, but they just like fell off, kind of like fell away. His last 5 or 6 matches.
Yeah, but
and eventually Arsenal overtook them, didn't they, on the final day?
Yeah, well, the difference between Leicester and Spurs is that Spurs are a one-man team and Leicester were a two-man team because they had Mahrez and Vardy, whereas Spurs only had Kane. That's why.
We had some like big performers in there, but N'Golo Kante, he was a good player. It's kind of in the background, not always taking the limelight.
And then
but I mean, after that, we've been
the
like
Japanese guy. He did a lot of heavy lifting for you. He covered a lot when the front players. What was the striker's name? The Japanese guy.
Okazaki.
Yeah.
Shinji Okazaki.
Yeah. He was good. He did his job. He was the sort of player you need if you're going to win a league.
I mean, he was, he was a hard-working player. I mean, he wasn't a very prolific scorer for like Leicester. Can maybe count on like one hand, how many how goals he scored. I remember he scored like one in the Champions League. I think it was against Club Brugge. I remember.
Yeah, but when you have an injury to Vardy, and you say to yourself, "Oh no, for the next 3 games, I'm going to need somebody." There you go. That's the man you have. He's all right. He's okay. He's kind of like, He's obviously like not as good as what City have with Alvarez, but that's what Richarlison is to Spurs. That's what he is. Like he's the equivalent of Inazaki. That's and yet here he is starting for Brazil in the World Cup. So I'm still favouring England. England or France. I've not seen anything to change my mind.
I think they're definitely contenders. I still think Argentina. They had a shocker to begin with, but looks like they're back in business. Had a good win against Mexico.
1-0. They're going to go 1-0, 1-0. They're going to get it. They're going to win that group. They're going to go 1-0 all the way, and they'll end up making the final, or they'll get the semi-finals or the final.
I think it's very possible.
Yeah, and they won't score any goals. They'll just not concede any. They'll just go, yes, you're Messi, you can score goals. And we're going to not concede.
Yeah, I feel like for Messi as well, it would be like a very romantic end to his career. I think, if he wins that, then he must be thinking he's done it. I was like reading today that he's considering a move to Miami, like in the MLS.
So why not?
I mean, especially if he wins the World Cup, what else does he really have to play for after that here?
Money, lots of money. Many money. That's what you have to play for.
Yeah, but I think he'll definitely get that at FC Miami, if that's the...
You'll get that wherever you want. You'll get that wherever... that's a great tackle. That is a great shoulder charge. What's his name? Alberto. What's the right back's name?
Which team?
Brazil. What's the Brazilian right back? What's his name? I've forgotten.
Let's get the team sheet up here. Hang on.
It's late. It's like 35 minutes past.
Brazil. So we got Ida Militao and Marquinhos. You're playing on the back right.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, it might have been Marquinhos. It was a great tackle anyway. He came across and just shrugged off the striker. It was very good. But
and Marquinhos, big player from PSG.
PSG, yeah. For all the possession that Brazil have just had for the last 34 minutes, they didn't score.
Well, they had one chance. They had one chance on goal, but the Swiss look pretty confident in midfield. They're holding the ball and they're pressurizing them. A lot of unforced errors in the middle. They're not as confident as their predecessors of 2002.
Yeah,
it's not that.
Take a look at this Brazilian team when they're out of possession. They just revert straight back to a 4-4-2, which means that it's all the more important for at least two of those midfielders, be it Fred or be it Casemiro, for at least one of those to start covering the space in between the defense and midfield. Because if they get caught out there, if one of the Swiss players drops into that little number 10 pocket, it could potentially find passes for Xhaka and Mbolo when they go past. So I think there's a gap to exploit there between the defense and midfield for Brazil if Switzerland have the player to do it, and I don't know whether they do.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that the Brazilians have gone for the 4-3-3, and then
there it is. There's the
gap.
Just
filling the midfield so that they can't play their game. They cut the game down completely with the formation. It's a really good strategy. Because they're snapping at their feet, and it's hard for them to get any flow. They're not moving.
Like the Brazilian formation is a bit weird here. It's a 4-4-2 out of possession, and then it's like a 4-2-4 with the wing backs not inverting but not overlapping. It's kind of strange. It's an unusual system that the Brazilians are playing. I don't understand it. That's why I don't fancy them to win the World Cup, because I don't understand it. I don't understand how they're playing. I don't understand how they think it's going to work. But obviously, player for player, they're probably as good as any team in the World Cup.
I mean, if it stays 0-0 and they might bring on their substitution, we might see a better game, because what the players are on here. I'm looking forward to a substitution.
I think so. Yeah. I think there's better players on the bench.
Exactly. I mean, half the top players on the bench. I mean, they're substitutes. If you're the gaffer now, you've got De Silva sitting there, Fabiano. You got a few. Jesus. Okay, he's on there. Okay.
Martinelli.
Yeah, exactly. You got a whole bunch of them there.
Martinelli, Rafinha, you got Jesus. You can change that whole front three. You change that front three, and I'd leave Vinicius Junior there, because I do rate him. But even though he should have scored, he really should have scored earlier on. Then the midfield, bring on Guimaraes. Maybe he'll push them forward a little bit. But it's 0-0. There's 37 minutes gone. Switzerland have done nothing wrong. Switzerland have done nothing wrong.
Looking very solid. Yeah, they just had
Yeah.
Rafinha's troubling the defender. He's doing pretty well for Brazil. He's not doing too badly so far. The pick of the bunch is Rafinha for me. But how about you guys? Any player stands out for you
so far?
Yes.
The right back. I think it is Marquinhos that I was looking at. He's popped up every now and then. I think that's so for Switzerland is just after walking past him a little bit there.
I can't say a single player. I would say, I suppose, Brazil have been that little bit more attacking, and Switzerland that little bit more defensive. But I think like Switzerland, are capable of doing something on the break, definitely.
Yeah, everyone just seems to have done their job for Switzerland. To just like go out there and do their job, and that's fine. That's what they have to do. Is anybody outstanding? No, not yet. Brazil, they have to similarly go out there and do their job, but their job is to score goals because they're the favorites, and they're not doing that, and they don't look close to doing it either. They don't.
No, I think they definitely lack a lot of the flair that we saw in the teams of the the 1990s, the early 2000s, and before that.
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose a lot of the players can, the decent players, but for me, I don't see a lot of flair or that traditional Brazilian skill on show.
There was a great example of a goalkeeper who can pass, just playing one little ball over to the right back, and all of a sudden the press is gone, and it's up the other end of the pitch. Ball's up the other end of the pitch, and Switzerland are attacking.
Okay, we've got Switzerland on the break here. See if we get a good crossing.
Who was there? He clipped him as a foul. Clipped his leg.
Well, you guys are a little bit ahead of me again. What did you see there?
I didn't see the guy touch the ball. It looked like he clipped his leg completely. I'm not sure. Well, they gave him a throw in anyway. Free kick. There was free kick. Yeah. I'm watching off my phone. Interestingly, as for the Swiss, I was going to say not about Swiss football. Because I was looking into it before this game. I was thinking, some historical things of what's going on with Swiss. Swiss didn't really make a dent in the World Cup. This is probably the first ever, big go at a decent team with a chance to get into, say quarters or just make it through, maybe even show something. Because their rank is quite low in terms of overall rankings, but their coach Murat Yakin's he's come in with a good performance. They've got a solid performance coming in, but historically is it 1954 or somewhere around there they co-hosted the World Cup with Germany, right? Is that any of you recollect that?
Hosted with Germany? I mean, that's Switzerland.
Swiss they co-hosted it at one point. Is it 1954? Anyway, the Swiss really haven't. It's a small. You have to think about Switzerland as a very small city, even if you're saying of the country as a size, not a big place.
Actually, in 1954, Switzerland was the only host that year.
Oh, that's right. They had the highest number of goals per game, the highest record, if I remember from trivia point somewhere. If you check it. So it's that was the time they actually they did play in the World Cup before. So I'm not sure if they've ever had any top players over the years.
They played in the last World Cup. They played in the last World Cup. The top. I remember. Yeah, they never really superstar players. Always good players, just good, solid players that do a job. I remember Johan Juru, if you remember Johan Juru, he was centre back for the Swiss while he was playing for Arsenal. Um, who else? Anyone else? No one really. Oh, Shaqiri, Zedran Shaqiri. He was played for Barcelona, Ajax, Liverpool. Is it Zerdan or Zedran? Yeah.
I mean, some of the clubs that these lads play for are quite respectable. Actually, I was just checking. There's a couple of Benfica lads in there too. They played for.
Lights are gone.
Yeah.
Lights are gone.
Sevovic, Harris Sevovic, Mr. Harris. Okay, he was a forward in 1992. They had some good players over the years. Zubair, AK Athens, played a midfielder, a decent one. He played pretty well. You've got Rodriguez who played for Torino, and that was around 1992. So in the more recent years, they've not had many famous club players. Jovan played for PSV. I remember him 1994-ish, and so now the more recent players. I'm just thinking who's going to score a goal for Swiss, and the names are.
If you have a look at the forwards for Switzerland, I mean, I know we don't have a lot of big names. So there are four forwards in the squad. We've got Ruben Vargas, who plays for Augsburg in Germany. Got Noah Okafor, plays for Salzburg in Austria. Haris Seferovic plays for Galatasaray in Turkey. And the other one is Briel Mbolo, plays for Monaco. Yeah, so I suppose they do lack, some big name strikers.
Mbolo is a good player. But again, it's in France, so Pepe is doing well in France at the minute.
Okay, so we've made it through to half time, and actually kind of feels pretty uneventful this first half, and. Quite surprisingly, there was only 1 minute. I mean, it's been a very clean game at the same time.
Yeah.
So there was only 1 minute of extra time, which must be like the shortest for this tournament so far.
I mean, it's pretty professional. It's not much time wasting. They were not messing around. I completely agree with you. It's pretty. The thing is, that shot they missed, the one shot on target they had. They had two, but the first one that was a sitter could have. There should have been a 1-0 lead to Brazil at this moment. I feel that they should have taken the lead.
I think Richarlison, he had two chances. He should have scored one of them. Vinicius Junior, he knows himself he should have scored.
That's a goal. So.
Yeah, Vinicius Junior should have scored. Richarlison probably should have scored as well, but Switzerland go into the break and they haven't conceded, so they've done their job.
Well, so, I'm hoping they pick number 6 for Swiss to come on because he's got the same name as I have. Interestingly, okay. So I was quite interested to watch. Number 6 has the same first name as I have. Interestingly, that one. So short for Zach. There you are. If you ever want to know, my full name is number 6, Zachariah. And he plays for somebody I don't know. What would you do as a manager for Swiss? I think I would keep the same team. They did pretty well to contain them.
Just send them out. Do it again.
Decent. You got to give them respect. I mean, they contained Brazil, and that's a decent performance.
Yeah, they looked very solid in that first half. They were very comfortable. They didn't seem like overawed by the opponents or anything. So I still think they're definitely in there 4 points at least, I think. And I can see in the chat we've got JD. So welcome to the show here. So greetings, people. What are the chat rules here? Not a lot of rules. Just keep it focused on the game. Football in general. Things you're interested in, and keep it clean. And we're going to be fine.
Go ahead, JD. Any questions you want to fire away? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think like Switzerland are definitely the happier team. Any team that keeps Brazil from scoring is going to be happy. Now, obviously, me talking ill of Brazil doesn't mean that I don't think they're a good team, because most teams in the World Cup will be happy to have Richarlison up front, but I do question the selection process. I do question why these players are picked, and England have the exact same problem with Harry Maguire. Like, why the hell is Harry Maguire at the World Cup? Luke Shaw. These two players, they should not be at the World Cup, but they are, and they're starting. And
I mean, just to reinforce your point, and also interesting one for United is, but Luke Shaw's not bad. I mean, he's been consistent for United, but both of them been people asking the question: should we be replacing both players and getting some more talented ones? So yeah, I would say that's per England's problems. I would agree. They shouldn't have got the United boys in there. That definitely is. I'll be on the page.
I would suppose with Maguire, because they paid £80 million for his transfer, didn't they? But it might have to make a big loss, and maybe not only in financial terms, but also maybe in face a little bit if they have to sell him very cheaply.
That's true. Well, you guys made a huge profit off that, and you guys made a good as well. I'm going to ask you about
they made a really good job of maybe recognising talented players who are still playing. He's still quite young, but in relative obscurity, and then maybe over the process of 2-3 seasons, they kind of turn them into like big name players, and then they sell them for a nice hefty profits. And of course, like we said, Riyad Mahrez was a top example of that. So we bought him for. I remember I watched his first game for Leicester City. I can't remember which team it was against. It must have been Huddersfield. I think we remember watching a game against Huddersfield when we were still in the Championship. We beat them 6-1, something like that. And we bought him for £500,000 from Le Havre in France. We got promoted. Had a good few seasons up. He had a season in the Champions League, and then eventually he left for Manchester City for around £50 or £60 million.
A lot of money,
We've had quite a lot of players like that, coming through Leicester. But so far it's been okay, because they leave for a big team, and then somehow in advance we managed to find another upcoming gem from another small team.
Brendan Rodgers is a genius.
In France.
You guys should have kept Ranieri. If you locked him in the kitchen and just kept him there, he's a top gaffer. I mean, I'd like we've had Ranieri in his peak at United. I'm sure he would have done really well. Yeah. He's just one hell of a.
JD is asking a question there. He said, "Who are people rooting for between the US and Iran, and does it match who you think will win and why?" So there's a couple of parts of that. Who are people rooting for between the US and the Iran?
Good question.
I'm really up. I really like the whole women's movement that's going on there now at the minute. I respect that a lot. So I kind of want them to go as far as they can. Does it match who I think will win? No, not at all. Because America, the United States of America, is a very, very good football team.
Right.
Very good football team.
Nice.
I mean, it's difficult to call. I mean, if you asked me after that game against England, where England won 6-2, I would have said, definitely the US. But it was amazing the turnaround. It was almost like a Jekyll and Hyde performance in these first two games. They really put it on in that game against Wales, and I was expecting Wales to beat them easily. So I think for me it's a very tough call. But I do remember in the previous World Cup, Iran did beat the US 2-1. It must have been 2002.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was.
But to be fair to Iran, having a 6-0 drop, 6 goals conceding against England, and could have been 7, could have been 8. They didn't demoralize. They weren't demoralized. They came back and they gave it the best in the next game. They had the energy to come fight.
We saw that game with Costa Rica, didn't they? Because they came back from a 7-0 dribbling against Spain, and then somehow came back to beat Japan 1-0 in the next game.
Yeah,
and that tells you something about the mindset of the team. I mean, really, I wasn't that familiar with the names of the players, but what I did, I really like the fact that they had the guts to come and play all out and give the full effort. Some of the club players that played for England don't do that for their national team, and I always think that's quite irritating. And the fact they did it for their national team is pretty interesting. And the US, they came out fighting against England, and they gave us a shock. It was not a win, but it was enough to give us a wake-up call that we got to.
But the thing is, the thing about
I'm going to call it 50-50. I'm not going to call it either way. It's going to be a hard one.
It's not 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's 80-20 to the US. The US are a decent team. The only thing they're missing is goals. Like, where do the goals come from? Which is a problem that a lot of teams have. They have quality, and the quality goes through the squad. They have top players playing in top clubs in Europe. Iran, they're still Iran. They've still got guys playing in Iran, which is, not going to win them. It's not going to win them the World Cup. America is a much better team. Like putting the cards on the table, America is a much better team. England messed up because England recognized the fact that the United States is a good team and then sent out the defenders, which is why Gareth Southgate is an idiot. And he is an idiot. Gareth Southgate is an idiot.
In that game, I would agree with you. He made a lot of blunders, but previous games judging him over the last 2.5 months and the 6 months prior to this.
He was an idiot in the last. He was an idiot in the European Championship. He was an idiot in the last World Cup. He's probably always been an idiot. He's like, he has this idea in the back of his head that once he goes up against a tough team that he has to defend. Like, you don't. That's not what you do. If you're good at attacking, attack everybody. That's what he should do. He should attack everybody, not just not just Iran. Like, he should have sent out the exact same team against the United States and then beat them 4-0, which he could have done, and then sent out the subs for the last game against Wales and just went, nah, here, go on, have your 3 points. Nobody cares. We're rested for the last 16. But he didn't. He didn't. And I really hope he stays as England manager, because the longer he stays, the less chance they have of winning anything.
Well, that's your bias is all very quite clear. I was trying to be nicer to. I've got another question. It says I still wouldn't have given Japan or Saudi Arabia much chance. I hope US wins. In my mind, it's still far from a sure thing. I would agree. I would agree the US have got a chance. The reason why the US will play, US will host the next World Cup. Am I right, guys?
I think it's going to be jointly held between Canada, USA, and Mexico. So basically, like NAFTA. Maybe it's more like a NAFTA World Cup.
Exactly, and in that case, this is like a trial run for their home World Cup. So whatever the US is doing now, they've got like the 4 years to get those players right into the experience of this World Cup. So they're gonna take this game as a very good training match for the future as well. So they've got nothing to lose. I really fancy the US. They've got
4 years to find a striker. That's what they have. They have 4 years to find a striker.
Exactly.
And if they do, they'll do well. If they don't, like, they came into this World Cup, they should have beaten Wales. Wales got very, very lucky to equalise, and they were the better team against England. and England is my favorite, one of my favorites for the tournament. Like I said, it was France, Brazil, or England. Now that doesn't mean that like me saying France, Brazil, or England. I still think there's faults with all three of those teams. I think all three of those teams have problems. They're not perfect, which
you mentioned France.
Which makes the World Cup interesting.
You mentioned France. I watched the French game. I watched the highlights of the French game. It was too early in the morning for me because I had classes. But Mbappe, I mean, not bad. It wasn't the same Mbappe. He still got some niggly injuries and didn't look so quick. But he's looking sharp. He's kicking goals.
What age is he now? Is he 25 yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I think he was still a teenager since he had the last World Cup.
I think he's only like 23 or something. I think he's something like 23 or 24. He's it's not right. He's
I mean, the maturity of that player, the way he reads the game, the way he sees he sees his team. He's just amazing at reading the game.
Can you imagine he goes and wins the World Cup again? Can you imagine he wins the World Cup again? He'd be like 23 years old, and he's one off Pele. 23 years old. He's got another 3 left at least. Another 3 left at least. He could be better than Pele.
Exactly. It could be. The thing is, I do rate the French and the Spaniards. None of you mentioned the Spaniards, those dark horses. They scored 3 goals. Is it 3? And they're looking very comfortable to get through.
They're kids. They're a bunch
Exactly.
of kids. Nobody has a clue about them. Nobody has a clue about them. I don't know about them. You don't know about them.
Half the player, but if you look at the team, they're all coming to the La Liga, and La Liga's obviously without the famous players. Messi will not be there, but the Spaniard have got Spanish local clubs have got really good talent.
Yeah,
they play like a club side.
I see JD there. JD asked the question like, I wouldn't have given Japan or Saudi much of a chance. Well, I'll tell you, that's why football is great, isn't it? It's at the end of the day, it's 11 players walking out onto a pitch to play another 11 players, and it gets you inside your guts. You when you're invested in it, it kind of lifts you to another level. And Saudi Arabia, those boys, they know this is it. This is their chance. This is their chance. This is like the FA Cup. It's like the third round of the FA Cup. This is Wrexham playing Arsenal. This is Yeovil. This is Kidderminster Harriers. This is it for them. This is the only chance they get. So anybody has a chance against anybody, and that's the beauty of football. Made you wish it were Japanese for a day. Well, I wouldn't wish that it was Japanese for a day, but I'm happy enough being Irish. They looked like they were enjoying themselves. That is the truth.
But I mean, the other side to it is their manager. The French staff was really tactical when he played. He knew how to play against Argentina, and he played it and the players delivered. But it was a physically brutal game to watch. I don't know how it was for you guys, but it's just the physical contacts, the snaps, the time wasting. I found quite irritating, but
yeah.
I didn't like that part their win, but I did respect the fact that they held a top side over 90 minutes and even scored goals.
The Saudis, they really did impress me, and the goalkeeper just seems like a very friendly guy. From what I've heard in interviews and stuff of the Saudi team, he seems like one of one of these characters who give you the shirt off his back. He just like one of these guys who's just happy to be who he is. He just seems like a really nice guy. It was kind of it was a shame for him that and you could see that it rattled him, like breaking his own teammate's face. That you could see that he was shook up by that. But yeah, Rodrigo is on. Rodrigo is on for the West Ham sub for Pacquiao.
Yeah, how do you pronounce that? Solio de Lima.
No, it's just Rodrigo. He plays for Real, I think. Does he play for Real Madrid?
That is Real Madrid. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, his season,
but his season has been that great. If you look at it, none of them coming in with form.
What, really? Rodrigo's scoring goals, man. Rodrigo scores goals for Real. He's a winner. He's so imagine he's going to go onto the right.
Yeah.
I imagine he'll go onto the right, and then where is he? Yeah, he's on the right, and then you have Vinicius Antonio on the left. Richarlison is still going up top, and then they'll try and do some sort of a pivot in the midfield, will they? Maybe a two-man pivot in the midfield. Yeah. It'd be interesting.
So JD, will you be on during the US-Iran match tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, out of all of the matches we could cover, I mean, this would be like up there among the better matches. But unfortunately, from tomorrow, because we're on Beijing time, so from tomorrow, we're going to be watching. There's going to be one set of matches, one pair of matches on at 11 p.m. And then tomorrow, Wales against England, Iran against USA is going to be at 3 a.m. So as much as I would love to watch it, it's probably going to be a little late for us, unfortunately.
Mm. Yeah.
But gentlemen, will you be watching that game tomorrow?
No.
A bit too late for that. Yeah, that's a little bit too late. But, okay, let's see. There's did Chongqing have a Brazilian coach coming in? Is that right?
The coach for the Korean team. Did you notice the coach of the South Korean team? The team that was just playing there. They played Ghana. It was 3-2. Did you notice the coach? There's a guy called Pablo Bento. Pablo Bento is a Portuguese coach.
He sounds familiar.
Yeah, it should sound familiar. Pablo Bento, the coach for South Korea, was formerly the coach of Chongqing Lifan.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting.
Wow.
Oh, so we have a famous player. Famous manager on our side. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. And he got sent off after the match as well. He did.
Okay, that's a two-player sandwich between 3-4 players or something, or the clash of heads. Okay.
Yeah, no, actually, for these live streams as well. I mean, we did try to contact Chongqing Lifans, final manager, because I don't know if the audience knows that a couple of months ago, Chongqing Lifan, they kind of went bankrupt, didn't they, and had to disband. But their final manager was a Korean guy who's called Jang Weirong or something like that.
Yeah.
Jang Weilong. But after that, he returned to Korea, and we weren't able to get in touch with him. But apparently, he's kind of the linguist as well. When we were trying to get in touch with him, apparently he's really good at English, Korean, of course, but Japanese, and another language as well.
Is he a cunning linguist?
He is.
Just a bit of trivia from the golden era of Brazil, because this is Brazil has a history, and when you watch Brazil, it's like watching World Cup history. So for me, I watched footage of this before the well, it was an interesting one. Is during Pele's time, okay, and yeah, one of the England withdrew 0-0 against Brazil on the first match, and that's that's something that I thought was that England team was one of the best teams ever against Brazil. Then drawing, so Brazil has a long history with England, and we haven't really fared that well against them. So I'm hoping we can avoid Brazil. I didn't check which. If we win or lose, there's a chance of meeting Brazil. But if we can avoid Brazil, it's always a great.
I mean, I think our competitive record against Brazil isn't so good. I think it
never has been.
Yeah,
so
I think we've been
the worst Brazilian side,
like international friendlies. But yeah, I mean, I suppose it might be good to avoid them in the World Cup.
I remember seeing Brazil playing Ireland in Lansdowne Road back at the beginning of the 2000s. And just we did really well, but for Ireland playing Brazil, it's just like, can we keep the score down? Can we? Like, there's no chance of beating them. Just, can we keep the score down? Yeah. Do you know? I got a random thing. Just remembered it here. It was about the Malik, the coach of the Switzerland team here.
Go ahead.
It's Malik, isn't it? It's Yannick Malik or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah, Yannick Malik or anyway. When Northern Ireland drew with Italy in the qualifying group, he actually sent a big box of Swiss chocolates to the Northern Irish football team as a thank you. Yeah, it was Northern Ireland drawing with Italy meant that Switzerland got into this World Cup.
Right.
How close was Ireland this time? Because they had a playoff against Portugal, didn't they?
Yeah, we had a playoff against Portugal. Ronaldo should have been sent off twice. He actually had a penalty. Right, it was a penalty to him, and he slapped the defender. Like, he literally just slapped the Irish centre back in front of the referee. Just slapped him across the face, and stayed on the pitch. Stayed on the pitch, and at the end of the game, he scored the winning goal, and the referee, they actually got a lip reader to read this, and he actually said, "Is it okay if I book you?" The referee said to Ronaldo. I'm going,
oh, you guys are
he should have had before.
I hate that guy. He literally slapped somebody on a football pitch. He slapped him in front of the referee and got away with it. It's like one rule for Ronaldo, one rule for the rest of us. What is this? You know, horrible. I hate the guy.
Guys, we just missed Sylvain Wilma just could have nodded it in off the corner. That's a clear chance for the Swiss. Set pieces, they look pretty solid on it. It's a well drilled, and the shot was blocked as well. So yeah, it's that's one down. Could have been a goal for them.
I'm amazed that nobody's thought to bring on someone young and just have them run at Thiago Silva.
Oh, that's a hell of a cross. That's a hell of a cross. Inches.
Yeah, nearly messed that one up, the keeper.
Okay. What time? What's the time on your clock? Mine's 56.
No,
mine's just gone 66. Just gone 56 minutes.
Okay,
no,
just what hell of a cross was there? Where it just the Brazilian. And Baldo's done a decent game defending against the Brazilians. So the Swiss defenders not doing quite well.
Yeah, it was a lucky escape for the keeper.
Did you see it? That's close.
Mbolo just put in just nearly took the ball off of Allison. He nearly just took it. And then that Richarlison should have scored. So should he have scored? Should he? Let's see. He's there. Yeah, he should have scored.
He should have scored that one.
Is he? Allison is so lucky.
Between the first attempt and this one, I think at least Brazil should be 2 goals up by now.
There we go. This is the boy that should have started. This is the guy that should have started. They're bringing on Bruno Guimaraes. Hopefully, well, I don't really care who he comes off for, but if sense persists, he'll come on for Fred, and then it will just be a 4-2-3-1 with
Vinicius Junior will play across, okay?
Vinicius Junior over on the left, and Rodrigo in behind, Richarlison up front, and then Rafinha on the right, you would imagine. Then Casemiro and Guimaraes sitting in the midfield, but with Guimaraes the opportunity to go forward a little bit to make it a 6-man attack. I would quite like them to bring on Guimaraes for Fred, because that means that we're probably going to get some goals.
Well, the Swiss have made some changes too as well. They're trying to
get some leader coming off.
Yeah,
there's Fred.
So Lucas Paqueta and Rodrigo coming off, switching around.
Right. Okay. So
definitely coming on.
So Fred's off. Guimaraes is on, and who have we got? Stefan and Fernandez. All right. So we've got the right back is coming on, and then Stefan is a winger. So I don't know. Like to the Swiss guys, they've just got to do their job. But the Brazilians, Casemiro is right. Like, they do have a lot of class on the bench. They have a lot of class on the bench. And you're right as well, Zach. There's probably more class on the bench than there is on the pitch.
The problem is not that. The problem that the manager doesn't know how to play. He's not a chess player.
Not a chess player, yeah.
He's not a chess player.
He might be a chess player. He might think to himself that he can get out of the group with these guys and keep everyone else fit. You know?
Well, you can't do that in the World Cup. You got to show your show. I mean, the world's watching. They got to show something, you know. But I agree with you. They might put a weaker players on because they thought, okay, let the other guys have a chance.
Yeah, like you're Brazil. They should be good enough to beat Switzerland, shouldn't they? Like whatever team that goes out playing for Brazil should be good enough to beat Switzerland. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're in the Brazilian squad, you should be good enough.
The thing we discovered is like teams with very little possession, they just need one chance to get the ball in, and then they become in a dominant position. So possession means nothing anymore.
Well, it's about I was saying to you before, it's about the efficiency of the attack. Because if you're only going to get the possession 20% of the time, you're going to know that your goals mostly come from one source, and then you're going to play to that source.
That
would make me very, like, if I was a Swiss manager, that would make me very angry. That passage of play that I just saw. It seemed an awful lot of bluster without anybody taking the guts to actually have a shot. Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. I think maybe Mbolo only has 1 foot. It's possible. Actually, that might be credible. Actually, I think maybe Mbolo doesn't have a left foot. Maybe he only has a right, or he's not comfortable hitting things on his left.
No, he's right-footed. He's not left-footed. He doesn't have the power on his left. That you can see from that. Yeah, but I don't know any defender that was both-footed ever. You know.
Oh, I do. There's loads of
Go
them.
ahead.
Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, the Irishman, of course, for United. Yes.
There you go.
There you are. He wasn't that tall, but he did very well against Barcelona when we played against them. So yeah.
Tell you another one. Wes Brown. He had 2 feet. Like he wasn't the greatest defender, but he had 2 feet.
Wes Brown's not on the same level as Dennis Irwin. Dennis Irwin's a class of his own field. Nobody can.
Absolutely,
He's a legend.
Yeah.
I remember watching Dennis Irwin play. You know, saw him play for Manchester United a few times at Leicester, and then after Manchester United, he went to Wolverhampton Wanderers, didn't he? I remember one.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
It was a game he went away to Molineux, and he was playing there. And also Paul Ince as well. He was in that same team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They both went to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah.
Yeah, you forget about Ince, the number 10 from the '98 team.
Yes.
Number 10. What are you doing buying him?
Memory lanes, eh? I mean, I've got an autograph of Dennis. I've got that chap on one of my T-shirts, so I'm pretty happy about that. Kept it all these years. I'm glad Fred is off. I'm really glad. They look a lot different now with Fred off there.
Well, let's see. They're kind of sitting in a 4-4-1-1 out of possession, which kind of indicates that they have changed to a 4-2-3-1 in possession.
It's a bit more attacking. I want
to see where their fullbacks go. I want to see where they're right and left.
What a hell of a ball! Oh, come on, finish it. So, there's something coming your way. Just watch. Is there something coming your way? Just watch. So, Owen, have a look. It's coming along. It's coming along. Did you see it? I'm ahead of you.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
You seen Thiago. It? The hell of a ball and a hell of a run. He read it. He read the pass and just,
Yeah, nice finish. Very composed. I like that.
So the fullback's tucking in. He's got a little push. Here we go. There's Bruno. Bruno. Bruno again. He turns it. Why doesn't Fred ever do that? Richarlison misses it. We've got Rodrigo who steps over, plays it to Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. passes it into the corner.
Now, are we going to be harsh on the defender? Do you think he should have got the ball?
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't that far off from the ball.
Wasn't that far off? He should have cut it out in the midfield. He should have got the ball in the midfield.
That could have been saved. I think we can. I'm gonna blame the defender for being.
I don't think it should have even got to Vinicius Jr. Who is the defender? Yeah, right there in the center circle. The center half steps up to.
Is Angie Kanji? Is it? Am I right? Kanji or
number 5?
Number 5, Kanji. Yeah, I mean,
that's Man City, Kanji.
Yeah, that's Man City, Kanji. Yes.
Oh, so it's going to a VAR decision at the moment. So we're just wondering what this.
That's right. James, can you confirm? Is Kanji Manchester City?
I've got a list here. Has it been ruled out, this goal? So it's been ruled out offside.
What? Okay.
Yeah, that's strange. It looks okay for me. I mean, although I know.
That's a goal.
That's a bit controversial, right? Isn't it?
Was it?
That was on. That's a wee bit.
Oh, maybe it has stood. No, it's gone back to 0-0.
It's gone back to 0-0. It doesn't make any sense there.
That's really, it kind of looked like they took it from the center circle, just then like a restart. Yeah,
the thing is, they're not going to replay it because the VAR guys have already said it's okay.
Yeah, that's very strange. I thought my impression then was he was onside, and then the Swiss defender missed that slide tackle. Then he went through.
He's
But that's
offside.
not payments. Switzerland, they were playing like a very high line. That
Online, guys, let's see what online viewers are. What do you think of that? Should be that goal? What do you think of VAR? Should it be a goal, Holly?
How is he offside? That doesn't make any. I want to see that again. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it looks okay to me.
Was there a push or something before that ball was passed?
No.
No, I think it was given full offside.
It literally, it's popped up and it said goal check, no goal, offside. That's what it said on the graphic.
Zach, which player did he mention just then? I've got the list here.
Oh, the player is Kanji.
Oh, Kanji.
Number 5. He's the guy who missed the sliding tackle. Is he City?
Plays for. Sorry, wrong team. Hang on. Kanji, yes, Manchester City.
Yeah. I was thinking something. Well, he should have done better. He's on a high salary, and he's very talented for City.
But they bought him to. Yeah, they bought him in because they were very short. They needed a lot of cover, and they got him right at the end of the deadline. But he's been fantastic for City this year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he should have been much stronger. But it should have been much stronger getting that ball in the midfield. Like he put his team into trouble, and from what I saw, that was a decent goal. Now Casemiro's in. Oh wait.
Oh, it's good pace here.
Oh no!
That's a free kick
just outside the box.
Oh no! He was offside. He actually was offside, but that's so cruel. That is so cruel. I don't know. I just don't think that's fair.
Right position then. It was offside.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair because he's okay. He's in an offside position, but he runs into midfield, like and not only into like the middle of the pitch, but the middle of the Swiss team. You know, they're like he gets that ball. There's 7 Swiss players between him and the goal, and he's offside. I just think that's unfair, but he is offside. He is offside.
So you're going to see here, did they go straight for goal or is it going to be a cross? But it's a dangerous position they've got here.
Oh, yeah. The goal that the Saudis scored. That was, it was Morocco.
Yes.
Was it Morocco?
Yes,
the free kick at the near post.
Yeah, he kicked the ball in like he was crossing it in, but nobody's on the front part and just there's no defender there.
They made a substitution and they brought on 2 big lads. They brought on 2 big lads, and then the whole defense was looking at these 2 guys that they brought in for this free kick, and then he just puts it in at the near post. It was brilliant.
Well, the thing is, they didn't put a defender there, and that's schoolboy error. That one, that was just that's what you do, when you're playing in high school, maybe. Right. At the moment, the Swiss are looking pretty decent. It's not.
Yeah, they've been very composed in this match. Yeah, be very impressed.
They're doing all right.
They're doing all right.
This is what they had to do, and they've done it so far. Will they get a chance to nick one? Will they get a chance to score? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because they've got to keep doing what they're doing. They've got to keep defending. But this attack by Brazil is relentless.
It would be interesting to see if any Swiss, anybody from Swiss watching this game. How do you feel about watching this game? It's really it's tough. Because every time they lose the ball, the Brazilians are very quick to attack. And they've changed their formation, but they can now just pounce on anything.
Yeah.
They've got the right formation now. They should have that from the beginning.
You can even see when they don't have the ball, they're just waiting for the opportunity to press. They're waiting for the opportunity to turn defense into attack, and they can do it with the click of a fingers. It's this way that the Brazilian team is playing now is I much rather it than the team that started the game. Much rather it. I think I think Guimaraes he puts his foot on the ball and he turns around. Like he looks forward rather than Fred, who just constantly just passes backwards. I don't think,
We got to remember. We got Jesus coming on. We got some good news coming. We wish for some good players to come on, and we might get it. Have a look. Something's coming up. So I'm ahead of you.
Jesus could be coming on for the Richarlison, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a switching.
Has been.
Jesus is on. Okay, that's it.
This is
I knew it.
We're getting some goals now.
If you ever want to know what it looks like,
possession looking a lot more attacking. So maybe it's time for them to go in for the kill.
Exactly.
If you ever want to know what a 25-year-old with too much energy looks like, that's what Jesus is. He's a 25-year-old with too much energy. his mother must have hated him. Sit down, Gabriel. Sit down.
Yes. Well, probably gave him the football rather than the milk bottle when he grew up. Here's the football. Come play. That's it.
Yeah, get out on the street. Go kick that.
Exactly. Leave me at peace at home. Go and kick the ball. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The Brazilians, they play football like we just are with anything they've got on the street. So it's just constantly developing their skills. Yeah.
So
that's a nice part. Go on.
So Richarlison came off, did he? Was
that's right. Finally, yes, we got a dream player switch. You know, at the beginning we were saying if they had a 0-0 draw, then they get desperate and bring on the real stars.
Yeah, they brought on Anthony.
Yes.
What have you made of Anthony so far for United?
I think he's got potential. He's got. We're just trying to getting him into a good rhythm and getting more confidence out of him. Yeah. He's a good player.
Like he started well. He scored in his first 3 games, was it?
That's right. I don't think it's lack of confidence. It's just his reading of the game. The Premier League is different from where he was before, so he's sort of adapting to that. But trust me, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a big fish in a small pond over in Ajax. Now he's gone to a club that has Ronaldo.
Well, we got rid of him, so he won't have that egomaniac there anymore. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but he's an egomaniac. That's it. Ronaldo's out.
Are you Ronaldo? Are you Ronaldo? Are you Ronaldo in the skies?
Exactly. I think literally the only team I don't want to win is Portugal for the sake of Ronaldo. I just don't want him that ego to go up. He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. No, I don't want him to win because of slapping Shane Duffy. So I do want him to win because I got him in the sweepstakes. But
fair enough. Well, anyway, it's going to be an interesting 15 minutes. We've got a proper Brazilian team now playing.
He skived that one.
He skived that one. 3 goals.
We've got Seferovic coming on. So a little bit more.
Harris is. Replaces. That's right.
Just, that chant Owen just said, are you like so and so in disguise? I don't know. Was that ever a popular chant at Manchester United?
Probably.
Because I suppose if you look at Leicester, the most shocking signing ever was a guy called Adi Akinbaye. He was like a record signing. Yeah, but
right.
like a striker. Where did we get him from? Was it Wolves? I can't remember. It took him forever to score a goal, and even the home fans used to make fun of him with chants.
Who was that?
A player called Adi Akinbaye. So
I remember him.
About 20 years ago, it was a record signing for Leicester, but he had a terrible scoring record and no skill at all. He's really the clumsiest, attacker I'd ever seen. But even the home fans were making fun of him. At home games, and I remember a student job when I did a student job in a bar in in the city centre. And I remember one day he managed to scuff a goal from 1 metre out against Sunderland. Yeah, and to celebrate, the entire team came out to this bar just to celebrate him scoring this one goal, this one scrappy goal against Sunderland. So I just don't know if the irony ever brushed off on them.
Oh God!
Adi Akinbaye, I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him. Did he play for
Wolves? Right.
We got him from Wolves, and then eventually we managed to ship him off to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Then after that, he just kind of disappeared into obscurity.
Then he went down to Wimbledon, I think.
Yeah, it must have been something like that.
Adi Akinbaye. Yeah.
I managed to blag it for a couple of years. He had a few seasons at Leicester, then it was downhill.
They got a free kick from your telly, it looks like.
Yes, so kind of out on the far right.
Yeah, they got a free kick. So let's have set pieces in Brazil. Just interesting. They're not really that great on set pieces historically. They don't really score that many, except when they had Ronaldinho, when they could bend the ball left and right. Yeah. But this team doesn't look like very good. None of these players stand out as set piece, experts in this Brazilian side, who can hit out 30-yard shot.
Yeah, not a great delivery, but it looks like Switzerland have weathered that little storm a little bit. So we'll see if they come back into this game for the final 10 minutes.
No.
And if they can nick a goal or something like that, I can see Switzerland holding on. Oh, too far.
A bloody terrible delivery.
That's a yellow card. Somewhere is it?
Yeah, for the bad pass. Yeah, sure.
Give him a red for the bad pass. No. If only he could do that. Eh? No. If I was a Swiss fan now, I would be biting my nails.
If I was a Swiss fan now, I'd be singing and dancing.
But I mean, if they were to lose it, I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, at least they have that win against Cameroon under their belts, don't they? So
exactly. They never thought they were going to win this game anyway.
Yeah, the worst happens, they should still be okay.
Yeah, they never thought they were going to win this game. And fair play to them. They came out and they've done their job for 80 minutes.
Awesome. Well, that header was tame. If he's going to come towards your way, it came out and then he sort of it didn't go left or right, went straight to the keeper.
Yeah, nice catch from the keeper there.
Yeah, it's nice. A nice save.
Very composed.
The Swiss coach, he can't even look. He can't even look. He's turned around and he's just put his head to the back of the dugout, just gone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as I said to you, they must be biting their nails.
Over.
Oh, it's a painful one.
He's saying, Jesus, don't let this game be over. He doesn't know that Jesus plays for Brazil.
Exactly. As I say, giraffe with his head in the sand. Best analogy for that one. Yes. Oh, it's one-way traffic. Right. Let's see. I'm looking at James's screen just in case something happened before.
Yeah, so we got a message from Holly Horn. There it is. I don't know if.
So Holly Horn is ahead of us. Something happened. Let's have a look. You're right. Let's have a look. Okay.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, right. Yeah. Put in top corner. It's a hell of a goal. Okay. Do any of you see a podgy-looking ex-striker?
Yeah, I saw Ronaldo.
Yeah. I know it's the transformation of slim and fast to podgy and ballooned with South American strikers.
Yeah, the old guard. Yeah, I saw Cafu and
Cafu,
too.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's it. The keeper was just standing. He couldn't do nothing about that.
Oh, beautiful.
It went off his bum, actually. It ricocheted off his bum. Fair play. Could have.
Yeah.
There's a picture. I'm not sure if you got it, but on the ITV1, there's a bloke, there's a Brazilian bloke kissing the plastic cup of the World Cup. Now, that's a bad omen, right, lads? Isn't it? You don't take a replica cup and kiss it on every goal. That's just, you don't do that, right?
I don't know. I don't know. That might be a superstition. Did you not notice who was sitting beside Ronaldo?
It's Roberto Carlos, wasn't it?
It was Roberto Carlos. Yeah, Roberto Carlos.
Yeah.
The United man, eh? The United man. See, I've got the jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was theirs.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah.
It was off his ass. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this moment, Brazil has 6 points. The Swiss are 3, so they still might qualify.
I was still thinking like Switzerland are still well in it.
So they'll qualify for this from this. Even if they lose this, they'll still qualify. Is that right?
But
I got to check it. I think it's right.
Yeah, Brazil be on 6 points. Switzerland on.
I think it's still qualifying.
Yeah, Cameroon and Serbia on 1 point each.
So it doesn't matter if they lose or win. They're going to qualify.
They still qualify for the knockouts.
Yeah. So it's not a bad result, this at all for Swiss.
No, they're grand.
Exactly. Well, it's not a bad result at all. It just tells you that anybody playing against the Swiss is they're a tight knit team, and you got to break it down. And they've got a hell of a keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They have to play Serbia. Serbia are going to be feeling decent after the draw they just had. But yeah,
let's see.
Switzerland have done nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. They just, they came up against Brazil. Brazil is Brazil. Like they're Brazil are going to win most games. Any team in the world would love to be able to bring on Gabriel Jesus off the bench. It's like, oh no, 20 minutes to go. What will we do? Bring on Gabriel Jesus. Wow.
An interesting point with that goal. Okay, both players are ex-Real Madrid players. They all they've drilled this kind of kind of attack play. Of course, we nicked him off Real Madrid and United. Now I've got the striker, but yeah, it's interesting. So basically, it's
they didn't want them. They didn't want them. They bought the French guy, Chuma, the midfielder. I can't pronounce his name. Starts with a T.C. Chumeni. How do you say
it? Your French is awful, dude. But it doesn't matter.
Maybe,
if you guys listening, who's the French dude that they got for Real now? He's not probably watching it.
No,
he probably not there. Okay.
Too many. Check it out.
Too many. Too many. No.
TCH. That's the start. They're the first letters. TCHOUMENI.
Okay. Actually, Alex is Alex can. James can knows French, so he probably can pronounce it properly for us.
But it's not in French.
Yeah, I get to set the spelling again for myself.
The T is silent, right?
Check out the French team. I'll get it for you. I'll find it.
So get the name up, okay? Have a look.
I'll find it on the team sheet. So.
Let's go French squad. Yeah, they bought this guy. This is their big player. So that Chumeni. TCHOUAMENI.
The T is silent. The T is silent, right?
I have no idea.
TCH should be like the ch, I think like the ch sound.
TCH.
Yeah, it should be truer mini. Although it kind of sounds a bit like this is a bit like a West African name or something.
Yeah, but that's
like Ivory Coast or that kind of area.
Yeah,
that's who they replaced Casemiro with.
Exactly.
Casemiro. He's got all the titles. How much of that is him being in a good team? Still, he's 5 European Cups.
But don't worry, the gaffer at United is going to keep him on the floor. He's not going to think his because we don't want to produce another arrogant, unmanageable player. But then we had Cantona, who was amazing, and we couldn't manage him, but he did everything for us.
Didn't have the manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't have the manager. We just had to put him out onto the pitch, give him a ball. That's it. Every now and then he missed half a season because he kicked the fan.
Exactly, and then he was flossing with sardines, the trawlerman and the sardine. Remember that one? Yeah,
that makes perfect sense, though. It actually does. Like if you ever listen to what he said, it makes perfect sense. Like seagulls follow a trawler because they think there's going to be fish. That's
exactly.
That's what they are. They're like all these reporters just following him around, going, "Why did you kick your man? Why did you kick your man?" It's like going, "Go away, go away, exactly. leave me alone." I did it. I got banned for 13 games. So what? Leave me alone.
But any of you can mention he made a few movies as well after his football career. He's not bad.
Yeah.
For the record, are you promoting any red wine? And if you are, what's the brand? And who's the got?
The brand is the only brand that would deliver. And we're not drinking good red wine at this stage. We're not. We're down to whatever food and supplies can actually arrive in through the door. That's where we are.
I've got a very cheap vinaigrette at home, but I'm not sipping that at the moment.
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. It's like 90 yuan out of not Lawson, 7-11. 7-11. So that's what it is.
I had a Chardonnay that got me through the last game, and at the moment, I dare not touch the Baijiu. Oh, good for you. No.
Can't do it. Can't do it, Baijiu.
No. 6 minutes added on, lads. 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Not that. I don't think they wasted that much time anyway.
No, seems fair enough. It seems a reasonable amount of time. A few substitutions and a goal. It does seems fair.
Cross.
And this is a fair result as well. You know,
Okay,
Switzerland.
I would say so.
Switzerland did their best for 80 minutes. They were still in the game for 80 minutes, but eventually Brazil just, scored because they do.
Oh, lovely through ball as well. Okay, we've got another chance for Brazil. Oh.
Yeah,
yeah, nicely taken off his feet.
I'm still in the camp of Brazil, England, or France for this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I still say like Brazil look beatable. To me, it's definitely not. It's definitely not like
England are beatable.
20 years ago.
I think all of them are beatable. I think this is a very open World Cup. I think there are problems in the squad of all of those teams. And by the way, when you said that's a great through ball, it was a great through ball, but the touch, the control in the midfield was sublime. It was the type of control that you don't see on pitches.
But the defender tracking back, that was a nice block.
Yeah, another last-ditch tackle, but
it's a decent
one.
Just for formations, I've got an interesting one for you guys. Do you remember the Magic Square formation?
Magic Square.
Carlos Alberto Pereiro, and he played the Magic Square formation. Okay, 4-2-2-2-2. And now, interestingly, they only could do it because they had Adriano and Kaká, and Kaká was the one who clinched the whole thing. But obviously, as you said, they lost to the French in that World Cup, which was in that time. So that was a period when they had the World Cup drought between 2006 and 2010. So Brazil, as we see now, they haven't always been winning all the time. So you never know with this team. You never know at all. On the day, I still fancy not England, but I would say the Spaniards beating the Brazilians. The Spanish team is young. They have no fear, and they're playing really well. So I'm going to go for Spain.
One of the things about Brazil, though, is that when the coach just says, "Go play football, do whatever you want," like just go stick the ball in the net, like have a good time, make it pretty, be Brazilian. They're amazing to watch, and you'd watch them all day, every day. But occasionally, you get managers of Brazil who send out 3 defensive midfielders, like what he did today. Like he played 3 defensive midfielders at the start of this game.
And it showed. Yeah, I mean they're very cagey in that first half. Yeah, didn't create a lot at all.
Like replacing Neymar with Fred. It doesn't make any sense to me. Is he going to do that again? Because if he keeps doing that, then you're probably right. The kids for Spain will probably tear them apart. But Brazil, send out the forwards, send the strikers out. Send all of them out and just let them go for it. That's what I did.
It might have been the first half they thought, let's not put on our superstars, and we'll get the other lads out and let them have some experience on the pitch, so that at least they're match fit for the big games.
Like I kind of think that there might have been something like that, but it's Guimaraes. He hasn't played. Just play Guimaraes. Casemiro, Guimaraes. Brilliant. Midfield sorted. Perfect. Brazil go win the World Cup. Fred and Paqueta.
That's why I said to you. That's why I said to you earlier that I didn't think he was a chess player, because you look at the Saudi gaffer. He played it like a chess man, and he took out a giant. That was a giant killing.
Yeah, he did. But hey, they went out. They got a result. You can't argue with that. They got 6 points, so they're through to the next round, and they've probably won the group. So what does he do the next game? Next game he goes and he probably plays all the guys that didn't play this game. He might actually start Guimaraes next week or next game, and then have everyone rested for the last 16
stages. Yeah, and the next one is against Cameroon, 3rd of December or 2nd of December. Yeah.
So you change about 6 or 7 players. Cameroon can't catch it. And Switzerland need to score. Will need to score 2 or 3 goals against Serbia to overtake you. No, you just send out the kids. Just send out the guys who haven't played.
It's give them a little bit of experience, so that'd be good for them. Yeah, and
absolutely,
stages,
yeah.
I mean, they've got Brazil through, but it's still open for any of them, Cameroon or if the Swiss draw against in the next game. Or just I want to tell you something out of just a name that you would know. Ian Wright is now the main chap doing the pundit business for ITV1. And do you remember that guy, Ian Wright?
Of course, Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. And next to him, you've got Gary Neville, right? I love Gary Neville, but I much prefer his brother Phil Neville as a player. Anyway, they're old names from the old days. I'm watching it from ITV1, and the streaming was not too bad. So you guys is it possible to think we could get the streaming at the same time in next game somehow? We just
well, whoever's in front, all they have to do is just pause it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's mine, but again, I just played direct from the CCTV 16 website page.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought I was the most influenced, but obviously, Holly, what was her name? Holly Horn. She's
Holly Horn, yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
She's another at least half a minute in front of me. So I don't know what she's using.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, guys. So are you staying up for the next one?
No.
Nope.
No. Going to bed now.
Yeah.
No.
Busy up early in the morning. But,
yeah, it's good. Anyway, the United man scored a goal, so half of Manchester will be cheering for Barcelona because. But as you correctly said, he's a wee bit arrogant. That chap who scored the goal.
Yep, he is a little bit arrogant. Doesn't come off as a nice guy.
No.
Whatever. He takes all sorts, and he's not paid to be a nice guy. He's paid to kick a football around, and he does that very well.
He did. A man of the match. We didn't do it last time, but a suggestion really.
I'd give it to Casemiro. Casemiro, he did everything he had to do. He won the balls in the midfield. He started attacks, and he even got into the box when he was allowed and scored the winning goal. Casemiro.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I mean, a really good
I would
goal. I
agree
mean,
with that.
to get a small deflection, but even so,
Yeah.
very
Like,
sporty. I think it's kind of like the standout moments for the match.
for the positions that he got into, I'd give it to Vinicius Junior, because he was always this close. He was always this close, but he was this close. He should have scored. He should have. He missed 2 easy chances. So, like, for all the good work that he didn't have the final product. Casemiro did all the good work and had the final product. And it's not his fault that Brazil didn't score 5 or 6 goals. It's probably Richarlison's and Vinicius Junior's fault that they didn't score so many.
Yeah, a lot of the midfield defense, a lot of tackles, a lot of very good marking off the ball, chasing the ball. His run. I mean, his fitness level is really good. If you watch the game, I'm sure there'll be some stats about how much miles he ran, but in terms of his fitness level and his commitment to the team, I would go agree with you on that one. Yeah, is the one.
Yeah,
okay, cool. So this point then, just to say, thank you very much. Again for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure as always. And if we can get another live stream in sometime, I think we've only got 2 choices, haven't we? It's going to be like 11 p.m. or 3 a.m. But hopefully, we should have some some good matches coming up at 11 a.m. Well, 11 p.m. here.
Yeah.
But I think the really good matches have been the ones that you don't expect. Like the Spain-Germany one was okay, but the 2 matches earlier on today were amazing.
Some big scoring games. So I kind of wish I was at home to watch them, but went outside to get some fresh air. But anyway, I'll leave you guys to get some kip, and be cool as usual, and it'd be really good if you can get another live stream in the next couple of days. Yeah, I'd really like that.
All
right. Well, thank you very much. So have a good night. Salute to you all, and I'll
bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.